Imagine a world where the most famous celebrities were not movie stars or musicians, but men who fought to the death for a living. These were the gladiators of ancient Rome. To the public, they were low-class slaves, but to the wealthy women of the city, they were the ultimate heartthrobs. Today, we are diving deep into the hidden and scandalous lives of Rome elite matrons and their obsession with the warriors of the arena. This is not just a story of combat. It is a story of desire and social rebellion that shook the foundations of the empire. And what these women did in private would shock you. Think about the most famous athletes you know today, and then just add a layer of danger and a social status so low they were legally considered property. In the eyes of a high-born Roman woman, a gladiator was a walking paradox. He was a social outcast, but he was also the physical ideal of bravery and strength. This raw power created a magnetic pull that many noble women simply could not resist. For a matron who spent her life following strict rules and appearing perfectly virtuous, the gladiator represented something wild and forbidden. Would you risk everything you have for a forbidden desire? Many of these women did exactly that. The famous satirist Juvenal once wrote about how these women would lose their minds at the sight of a scarred fighter. He mocked them for preferring a man covered in the dust and blood of the arena over a refined and noble senator. To these women, the sweat of a gladiator was not just dirt. It was a symbol of pure masculine energy. In fact, the obsession went so far that people actually bottled gladiator sweat. They sold it in small vials as a luxury skin treatment or mixed it into face creams. Some even believed it worked as a powerful love potion or a secret ingredient for beauty masks. Imagine applying a face cream made from the sweat of a warrior. It sounds strange now, but back then it was the height of luxury. Relationships between these wealthy matrons and gladiators were the ultimate taboo. In Roman society, a matron was supposed to be the pillar of virtue and dignity. Getting involved with a slave was a massive scandal that could ruin a family name forever. But the danger seemed to make it even more attractive. These secret affairs were discussed in whispers at the forums and debated in the Senate. Even empresses were not immune to this pull. History tells us that Messalina, who was the wife of Emperor Claudius, was legendary for her passion for these fighters. She would often leave the palace in disguise just to be near the men of the arena. Why was this so scandalous? Well, for a Roman husband, his honor was tied to the purity of his wife. If she chose a gladiator, she was choosing someone who had no legal rights and no social standing over her own husband. It was a direct insult to the entire Roman class system. Yet we find images of gladiators everywhere. We see them on lavish oil lamps glowing in candlelight and on secretive wall paintings hidden in the bedrooms of the rich. They were the pin-ups of the ancient world. They were symbols of a life lived on the edge where every second could be the last. But how much of this is true, and how much is just ancient gossip? Historians often debate if the stories were exaggerated to show how corrupt Rome had become. Critics of that time used these stories to shame women and complain about the decline of Roman morals. While some of it might be theater, we have enough archaeological evidence to know the passion was real. We have found graffiti on the walls of Pompeii calling certain gladiators the delight of the girls and the masters of hearts. These were the heartthrobs of their time, and their fans were just as dedicated as any modern fan base. These men lived on the edge of life and death every single day. That intensity made them irresistible to those living a sheltered life of luxury. They were the bad boys of antiquity, and their legend still captures our imagination today. From the sand of the Colosseum to the private villas of the Palatine Hill, the gladiator was a symbol of a desire that ignored all rules. They represented a primal force that no amount of Roman law could fully suppress. Imagine the atmosphere of the arena where the scent of blood and incense filled the air. A wealthy woman would sit in the high stands watching a man fight for his life. For her, this was not just a sport, it was a display of the most intense human emotions possible. The recipes for love potions involving gladiator blood or hair might sound strange to us now, but for the Romans, they were a way to capture a piece of that raw power. They believed that the energy of a man who survived death could be transferred through these strange rituals. This fascination created a whole industry of its own. Merchants sold souvenirs and charms featuring the most popular fighters of the day. Even the most elite families had to deal with the fact that their daughters and wives were spending fortunes just to be near these warriors. It was a cultural phenomenon that lasted for hundreds of years. It shows us a side of Rome that was far from the cold marble statues we see in museums today. It was a world of heat and passion and blood. As we look back, we see that the image of the gladiator has evolved, but the core of the myth remains the same. They were men standing outside society, yet they were the ones who moved the hearts of the most powerful people in the world. Their story is a reminder that human nature does not change much over the centuries. We are still drawn to courage and strength and the thrill of the forbidden. If you found this look into ancient secrets interesting, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Share this video with a friend who loves history, and let us know in the comments what other mysteries of the past you want us to explore next. Stay tuned for our next historical deep dive as we continue to uncover the hidden truths of the ancient world. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.